all figured out here. A little bit early, so things happen. Not really sure. This is going to be. Aha! There we go. All right. Off to bed shortly. I figured you wouldn't be up too long. Your Kia, how are you? Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. I'll see what I can do. All right. So, I'm not really 100% sure what I'm going to do. I'm also not real sure how long I'm going to be out here because the time change on Sunday is kicking my ass. I won't lie about it. I was up at like what was 3 o'clock this morning, so that's technically what 4ish. It would have been Saturday, and I'm just lost. I'm just lost. My brain is not computing. So I got some new totes, so I'm going to do a little bit of organization there. But other than that, I'm kind of hanging out. William Chandler, hello. Jordan, I do need, if you could, sometime, soon, because you love me and I love you, start printing that thing that Matt gave you, because I can't do anything else with the rest of the truck without that. Even if it's like a real short, quick, throw it on the printer so I can get a size, if you could. Glenn said, I have no sound. I guess I'll be back later. Okay. Everybody else has sound, right? We're all good? Waiting on some more info from him. Okay. Because I was going to put that truck together tonight, but then realized that I don't know where everything needs to go. All right, cool. Everybody has sound but Glenn, so as usual, Glenn's the problem. Alan said the sound seems quiet. Seems quiet? Hello? Is that better? I mean, I can yell into it if you want. I just needed to get a little closer, I guess. I'm still working out the depth or distance. Is that better? Deep throating the mic works. It does. It does. Just gobble on it. So, Jordan, our transmission showed up. They're over here on the wall. Glenn said, I'm back. Sound is good. I don't know why it's been doing that lately. I don't know. That's weird. For sure. So, I do know that. Actually, I don't know what I'm doing. Those go here, right? No, those go here. Oof. So, did everybody watch the video today? Of all my RC four-wheel drive hauls. Where the hell is my tape? I did another video, and that's, well, part of it's why this is a mess immediately again. So that's pretty cool. But Got it also said deep throat the mic. Your Kia said I watched in bed waiting for my alarm to go off. Nice. Pulled pork, show off your IJ. I can do that. give me just a second to move all these tires I was going to mount. Or I will mount eventually or something. I don't know what I'm going to do. We can go from there. I'll get it. I heard that another guy on YouTube was going to do something a little different and use a cage that looks a lot like mine. Man. In just a second, let me get all this stacked out of the way. There you go. Oh, hey, there's my tape. Damn it. There we go. Get that shit out of there. Now I need a marker. Oh, well. Anyway. A bit differently, yes. It is my favorite YouTuber. Except not. But that's okay. Most badass IJ today. I appreciate it. I love it. I did a lot of things different than I wouldn't go. I just pooped. Hi. Hello, sir. Jason Suter. Evening, gentlemen. How goes it? I did something a little bit different than I would normally do, and I really like it. I don't know if I could do it again, but I tried to just keep this thing really simple and just really just clean and kind of bare bones. And it really worked for this for whatever reason. Oh, dang. Scratch the shit out of that. Is the chassis on the corner of the table for the file Matt sent? No. This is the chassis. No, wait, actually, it's not that one. It's the other shop truck that is for that file. Nilla Bear, AZ Desrider, hello. Glenn said, has pulled pork seen teleguided's IJ? I don't know. That just all depends on personal preference, I guess, as far as whether they like mine or his better. I do have to say at Rocktober, that was like a 2 to 99 vote, where his was cool 99 times out of 101, but mine was cool too. But it is what it is. So they're also two very different builds, though. So that's kind of another thing to think about. Hang on. Damn it. I think Jordan may have got me sick from 30 miles away. Actually, I don't know how far away Jordan and I are, but anywho. Yeah, so there's my IJ. Wolverine's driving because he is the shortest person that I could find that didn't look like or wasn't a wrestler. Glenn said, I don't like the IJ thing at all, but I saw 3 at Rocktober that I enjoyed looking at. It's honestly really cool. I don't know that I would build more than one. Like Jordan was talking about building a 419, and like I could maybe see myself doing that, but like I just don't think I could, honestly. Like if him and Teleguided and Doug and Logan were all building both, then I would do it, but what's the height of the figure? He's short. He's like 5 inches and some change, I think. But a lot of people were having a problem where the seat, once you get the guy in here, like his head was around the bars and stuff. And so I just put this guy in there. Plus, he holds onto the steering wheel really well. He doesn't even have seatbelt, so when he bumps around, he's like actually jumping around in the seat. I thought that was kind of cool. Teleguided said, not my fault, I'm just a Jeep fanatic. Fair enough. Pulled pork, you don't have to have a vote. It's just really nice. Imagine this on H10s with nicer everything and black. That's pretty much pretty much how that went. It's nice enough that the guy that made the whole file shared a picture of Matt's Jeep. Glenn said, "I love the engineering and design aspect of it, but that's where my love ends." I like the engineering and design aspect of it to a point. There are definitely some things that I do not like about it and did not like, and definitely change. The front bumper being one of them. I despise the front bumper that he made for it. I don't really like the battery mount. Not that there's really a better place to put it, but the battery goes right here under the cowl, and I use a little 4S pack. And anything like if it sits in here and the wire's tucked in just right, the hood wants to come up. And for whatever reason, I've got 3 different steel screws here, and I've got the correct magnets, and they're all at the same height, but like it just doesn't have a lot of clamping force. So hopefully those little hood hinge things that Jordan printed, or yeah, Jordan printed will that. But Easy Des Rider, my vote goes the first one on my bench. Ha. Well, if you got enough money in your PayPal that you put enough money in my PayPal, this one can go to you for sure. I'm not that attached to it. I have no idea what that number would be. I'd have to sit down and really think about that, but it is. Oh, Jesus. Is it super pixelated for everybody else, or is it my iPad? Anyone? Pixels. All right, hang on just a second. There we go. I'll see if that worked. It froze on my end and had been pixelated since it came back on. Video equals boo-boo. Just a few. All right, well, I took the phone / the camera off of Wi-Fi. So hopefully, Mo better? All right, good. We still got to do some Wi-Fi action out here, but this internet's so much cheaper that we're kind of willing to mess with it. Looks good, meow. Good. So, anywho, so yeah, got that. I mean, it's literally just like everybody else's. I mean, at its core, I'd put a different front bumper. This is a Scale Metal Supplies bumper. I built this little high lift mount, so it's got an aluminum high lift on it. It's got a spare jerry can. The sides are aluminum, and then it's got different taillights in it than what would be, I don't know, called for or whatever. But other than that, it's just a burgundy-ish Jeep. Poll is live in Bullman Build's Facebook group. Okay. Like everyone else is only better. I mean, it is what it is. Izzy said, well, the picture is clear, but more good, or I can't go there. Yeah, fair enough. So, yeah. I knew that when we were building them, Jordan and I had kind of already discussed, we were putting a metal cage in them. After I saw the 3D printed cage just once the first time, I was already out. I was not having that ugly looking piece of shit in my Jeep. Cal Racing said, should have let me know. I could have been a special guest with you. I mean, you could have. You'd get home really late, but could have, I guess. So, let's see. Not a whole lot's changed since last week. Whoa, Nicholas Steffi, what's going on? I mounted up some wheels and tires and put them on some different things for a video I got coming out of all the visions I got. this basically this year. Get this. I put new wheels on the Pineapple. The new Vision 1.9 Creeps. I like them a lot better. They. Okay, holy cow. RC Granny, good day. How are you? But the Jeep. Hey now, how you doing? I appreciate that. I do appreciate it. What am I using for the cages, brake tube, and welding? I use 3/16 hydraulic tubing. Pretty much everybody that is, so like Doug, Jordan, I build my dad's stuff, so that doesn't count, but it's 3/16 hydraulic tubing from Stock Car Steel, and you get it in like a 2-foot section. You don't usually need a longer section than that, and after we priced it out one time, it's like right under 3 feet or right over 3 feet. The shipping, because of the height, just like triples. So I get it in 2-foot sticks, and I order them, I don't know, like 100 sticks at a time. So that's whatever. But brake line usually has a coating on it, and you've got to sand it off, and it's like super toxic and shit. So I don't even mess with that. I get the hydraulic tubing. It's basically like bendable shape wise, feel as far as weight is just like brake line. I just wipe it off with a paper towel, and then where I'm going to braze, I usually put it on my belt sander or scuff it with some emery cloth or whatever. So holy cow. Okay. Let's see. Good evening, Ride on 88. Hello. Glenn said pineapple. Yes, sir. Hobby Maine. What's up? You guys in your gushy shocks, dagnabbit, that is so cool to watch. Yeah, this thing is a heifer. I mean, compared to, I guess, a bunch of dudes with brassed out TRX4s, it's not that heavy, but it's like right at 9 pounds. She's a chunky girl, but it's got, I want to say like 60 or 70 weight in it. Front and rear, these are 110, no, hundreds? 110s. I think these are 110s, I'm pretty sure. It works great. Colorado Adventure Club said the audio quality is impeccable. Awesome. I'm glad. The only thing I'm getting used to is, especially with a live, I'm trying to look at you guys, but also talk into this. And if I bring the microphone over here, that kind of causes some problems with other things. So, let's see. What I have comes in 20-foot sticks. Holy shit. Chilling with coffee and biscuits. Oh, that's... but it's not biscuits, right? Those are cookies to us, right? Where are you from, RC Granny? Because we think biscuits, and I can't remember where you're at and what you call them. But Jared said I have a set of creeps going on my K10 as well, doing the leaf under on it. Oh, nice. So I got to play with tire size. You go real small when you do leaf under usually. That's like short tires. So I've got a leaf spring truck coming along at some point in time. Let's see. I can't hear, dang it. My Peter's getting almost as old as me. Oh, that sucks. Been there though. I would say it's just a touch low, but I have a wicked stereo, so I can compensate. I can't do anything more. So I've basically, the only thing I could think of is I could get like an amplifier set up or something, because I have my phone going into this audio doodad thing here, and it goes down to a power outlet thing and then goes to the microphone. I have the gain turned up to, I don't know, like 7 or 8 out of 10, because if I go much higher, it makes a god awful noise. Yes, down under, and they are cookies. That's what I thought. Okay, holy cow. Let's see. RC Granny said, so the stone tablets are ready to break in. Cody, otherwise it sounds good. Thank you. DR Custom Wiring, jumping for a few to say hi. How's it going? Before I do the live for Operation 11 Charlie. Oh, yeah. You're going to go teach people how to solder. Nice. Down under their cookies. Nicholas apparently got Cody's beadlock rings. That's super cool. Glenn Cook. Well, gotta go. Gotta kick Gabe and Andrea's asses on MK11. Love you, bye. Make a left at Ayers. You'll get there eventually, or not. 8lug said, all good, just turn it up. I can't turn it up, I don't think. Plus, in all honesty, when I was doing like test recording or whatever, it didn't make a whole lot of difference. But I've got output and some sort of phantom power thing. I don't know what the hell that does. But every time I turned it on, it cut off because it's technically a guitar and microphone like thing. I don't know what the hell. Anyway, so we'll see what I can do. It works for videos pretty well. The live, I have a different idea, but the price to get me, Doug, and Jordan one of these with the box and these microphones is not cheap because these microphones are like $100 a piece. So, let's see. We're talking leaf spring builds. Yes, we are, Jeremy. Oh, he said I'll turn it up. There you go. Yeah, and if you hit Wave Rock, you should have turned right. They must be having Australian chats or something. But anywho, so yeah, got my scale hardware on this. My new creeps from Vision. They have super shafty rotors in the front, and I believe these are Hibby made in the rear to kind of give it that like disc brake conversion look, where the disc is a lot farther back than the front would be. So that's that. Not 100% sure exactly where this is going to go, but it'll probably stay like it is now because it runs. So, let's see. You just use YouTube Live. You do use like Streamlabs or a streaming service? No, I use YouTube Live because I only have my phone. I don't have a laptop, and I am, contrary to a lot of these people's beliefs, I am technologically kind of stupid. So I wouldn't even know how to start setting that up and running that through YouTube. I don't know how. So I had to literally have London send me the links to everything that I got, and then I got the correct adapter to go into my phone. So don't give me too much credit. MT miners, I really want to build a cage, but really have no idea where to start. Let me see. Let me see if I can help. Hang on, let me go get a couple things, and we'll go from there. How's that? I'll see if I can help you out like I'm supposed to do as a good YouTuber. We'll start with this guy. This guy. Ow, shit. This guy. Oh, shit. Let's try these. This will kind of give you a rundown of a couple different options, I guess is what I should say. So, here we go. So, your easiest option is going to be something like this. So this is a VS410, and I sandblasted it. I know not everybody has access to a sandblaster. I understand that. I did. I don't know. You know, you can take a grinder, or you can take like a stone on a Dremel. Just kind of, you're just really sanding down off the paint where you're actually going to braise and a little bit around it. It's going to set the paint on fire around it anyway. It doesn't matter. So this is a VS410. I cut it like I cut the top of the chassis out here, and then made the rails to where they would kind of follow that same line, but then they don't dip back down. Then I cut the chassis off and then brazed the rails. I don't know if you can see that or not. I brazed the, oh, there's still sand coming out of it. Brazed the rails to the side rails. One of the things that you have to do is you're going to need an aluminum skid from like, I buy them off Amazon, like an SCX10 skid. And then you've got to grind this out to where it's just flat plate and then bolt the aluminum skid in there. That holds everything kind of square. So that's kind of what you would do there. That's one option. This is just a Jeep I'm building. I'll probably end up just selling it. I'm going to try and get it done. I wanted to get it done before Beats Creek this year, but I had 5,000 million other projects going. I'll probably just build this and sell it. So there's that option. This is my dad's WeRock. This kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of how to do like 2 side plates. So let's see, where's this one? Here you go. Actually, we'll start here with this. This is my 1.9 Unlimited that's been the same since like 2023. Let's see. When the volume is low, people leave and people joining are far less likely to stay. Yeah, I can't do anything about it. It just is what it is. In all honesty, I don't monetize the lives. This is really just for my own fun and just to talk to you guys. I mean, obviously I'd like to keep new people around, but it's really not that deep. So I'm going to try my best, and this is what it is. So here's what I kind of do. This is just something that I started doing. I don't know if it'd help anybody else, but so I drill the 2 holes through the side plates, and I run horizontal bars that are parallel to each other and kind of make like a side-to-side base. And then I start building off that, so you can kind of see how I took these out, and then that's where the A pillar goes. The B pillar goes here. And then I start building, I would say probably at least 50%. I get the main structure done, and then, you know, you can take this out and kind of eyeball it. But before I start putting things in that really matter, then you can take this out and make sure that nothing really moves. And I just cut these off flush with the inside of these skid plate or side plates. And then that's when everything kind of opens up and you can put the transmission in there, and then you really start putting things that are a little more intricate together. But every single time you go to braze, you need to put this aluminum skid back in. But that's just what that is. Your Kia City, who new people. Yeah. So I've got some things coming. Jordan and I have been putting it off for doing like a how-to series kind of thing for tubers, but I've had some problems with doing some things that I'm trying to work out a little better. But so, like after that, oh, bet that was loud. That was my bad. You're kind of going to be here. This has the main hip bar. It's got the A pillar, which will end up being the C pillar. Kind of has the crossbars. This is enough here where you have at least front frame rails, if not rear as well. And everything's kind of just going to hold itself together. And this is where I usually cut the bars out of the middle. Nothing's really going to move. It doesn't have a whole lot of like cross bracing as far as X's or, you know, anything like that, diagonals, but it has enough tube hitting different points that it shouldn't move a whole lot. So I've got the front frame rails done. They have a servo mount. The transmission mounts in it and everything, and it won't really move. I mean, if I dropped it or, you know, kicked it across my driveway or something, obviously it would bend, but It's so hard to video. I know, that's why I'm gonna have to have Jordan help me because I can't braze, hold the camera, talk to the camera, and stay out of my own way by myself. I've tried it. I tried to do it with a little tripod. Kind of had the camera like set up, but I always end up like catching the back of my arm, or you can just see my hand. You can't see anything. It's really hard to do by yourself. So that's basically the next steps. You're gonna have that. You're gonna cut the center out. Then you're gonna have a little more something like this. Start putting the shock hoops on. You're gonna start putting like these are the servo mounts to do the dig front and rear. You've got the bed mounts. That way everything's all, gusseted, kind of together, supported. I've got bed mounts back here. I cut this whole thing to fit this creep doghouse, so that'll kind of go on there. This needs the front shocks attached. The shock hoops are too low, but I don't really want to make them again or make them bigger, so this is kind of where we're standing right now. But yeah, we got links and kind of got the whole thing as a general shape. And then now you're putting this bar in, doing a little crossbar action, maybe doing one across here. This thing's almost done. Bill just won't come back over and help me get it finished. Jeremy said he can help with videography. Okay. You and Jordan episode called Brazzers. I like it. Jeremy, I might take you up on that. Maybe we can see. The only reason I was saying I was going to use Jordan and maybe his location is because he's in the basement. So it's climate controlled. It's very, very quiet down there and everything like that. So, but I would love to do, I really want to get it done. It's just, I'm just so busy and I just have 1,000,000,000 other things I'm trying to do. I'm probably 3 weeks behind on Mailbox Mondays. So I've got stuff sitting over there. I've got 3 or 4 planned. Like, plus I've got 1, 2, 3 projects planned for the winter and everything else. Like, I'm just, you know. So do you measure up for length as you, what? Do you measure up for length, or is it something like you have the lengths you want to end up with beforehand? What do you mean? When you say lengths, do you mean links, like the suspension links, or do you mean the length of something? If you mean length, that is the easiest thing to do. So one of the easier things to do would be take a VFD skid or your 10.3 skid, or not 10, well, 10.3 would be a pain in the ass. I've done one of those. 10.2 skid, or whatever you're going to use as your base, and then set the wheelbase, everything where you want it, and then you will build to that. The overall length, that's that's up to you, really. It also depends on what kind of vehicle you're building. I mean, if you're going to build a moon buggy, it's obviously not going to hang over the tires, but it can't be this long either. It's going to, you kind of got to. Jordan actually really got me going on drawing things out. I have some drawings over here. I can show you that. I can show you how I do it as well. Hang on. So this was this one? Yeah. So this is my Portal Samurai buggy. This literally just shows you how I draw it out. I got this paper and a whole pad on Amazon for like $13 or something. So that's just basically all I do. And then you can kind of draw it out and see what you like, where you want to put things. I tried doing it all, and I've just gone out here and just played around and I'll just wing it from the seat of my pants, whatever. And you definitely have your own problems. You'll start thinking that something's going to look okay. You get it together. You realize the roof line's too tall, which is a problem I really, really had a lot. Things just aren't the right length. You kind of build yourself into a corner where if you would have put a bar doing something else, then it would have been easier to get a crossbar or like a, I guess, a corner bar in, something like that. Um, Basically, I want to build ground up off a Vader skid and want to do something like Doug did with a crazy design. I mean, this is the best way to do it because you're gonna draw it at least once, if not more than that, because you'll get it and then like. So a few things I've done is I've drawn one out and just kind of been like, that's not bad. But what if I changed a few things? And by changing a few things, you're changing, let's say, half the drawing. It's just easier to draw the damn thing again and then kind of go in a different route or whatever, and kind of do that. That's kind of how I do it, and that's what I would suggest if you want to do, especially something kind of wild and like freestyle. I would 100% draw it out because, like with a roller or round tubing, things like that, you're really going to start running into just the higher possibility of building yourself into a corner. So, ooh, square paper. Yes. Teleguided said, I'd ask Glenn about links. He bangs them out so fast. Yeah. I mean, almost a year he's put 7 links on a truck and they're still not right. Are you using rod or tube for your builds? I use tube. We use 3/16 hydraulic tubing from stockcarsteel.com. MT Miners then want to build my panels out of aluminum. So the aluminum I use, I think we went over this last week, is gutter material. I got this online because of thickness rules whenever I was building like RC Derby car bodies, and I've just got a shitload left over. But I'm pretty sure that's 0.024 or 0.028. The stuff you can get at Lowe's is 0.019. It's going to dent a little bit easier, which kind of, depending on how you look at it, maybe better, maybe worse, etc. So just kind of what you want to do. But I've gone over that as well. I always do Lexan first. That's how I did the panels on the IJ. I traced it all out, kind of set it up there, drilled the screw holes, got everything all set, and then cut it all out to where it was exactly the panel I wanted, laid it back out flat on aluminum, put the holes in it, drew it out, cut it, and made it basically a carbon copy and then put it on the chassis. That's how I've done like the Burr Buggy. That's how the TJ is done, my Nilla Bear. That's how, tons of things that I've built are done. So it's not hard. It's time consuming as shit. You realize why people start charging $600-700 for a tube chassis that's custom made and that is more than a moon buggy that's 7 tubes and 3 bends. So that's a terrible drawing of my unlimited buggy idea, and it sucks. So thanks for all that. I appreciate it. No problem. That's literally what I'm here for. So like I said, that's one of the reasons that I'm doing these lives is like, if you guys want to see something, and I've said something to my channel members and I've, posted in my group a couple times. If you have an idea or like you want to see something, I can try to put that into a video somehow. I'll take all the ideas that you want to throw at me because coming up with things to do outside of I'm building a truck, here's how I built the truck, look at all this shit I got for, in the mail. After that, it gets kind of random and sporadic ideas. What are you brazing with? Safety Silv 56, which if you go with 40, was that 46 or whatever it is not nearly as liquid. It doesn't flow nearly as well. I'm using Safety Seal Flux and the Burns-O-Matic yellow map gas with a. I use a really long hose, and then it has like a self-igniting knob on the end, just so that way I'm not holding the big ass can all the time. And then I've got like a holder. I would show you, but my phone's over there and it'll take forever. But I've got like a map gas holder I got off Amazon for dirt cheap, and it's screwed into the wall. The map gas sits in it, and then the hose reaches over to my build area, and then I can light it, do whatever I want to. Jordan has a whole big bottle with the flame doodad on it, and he's got the whole thing, and I don't like it. It's very bulky to me, so I don't really like that. But that's pretty much my setup right now. I got the TIG. I don't know, the one that everybody was getting that Josh reviewed. I got one of those. I got a cart. I have the regulator. It's not mounted up yet. Um, I got the cart. Let's see, the cart, regulator, pedal, something else. I can't remember what else. And I just haven't put it together and gotten gas for it. I've had it for like damn near a year. And I'm going to start doing that because of nothing else. TIG brazing, A, looks a hell of a lot easier. And then B, once you get there, Yes Welder, that's what it is, the Yes Welder. Once you get there, brazing on body nuts can kiss my entire ass. It sucks. You got to take like screws and put really long, like 35 millimeter screws into the nuts. And then I use like these alligator clips with stands and like got to finagle it over here. And I try to set up at least two at a time. So I'm burning that one in, burning this one in, and then I can reset up. That is the most time consuming little ticky tack bullshit. And it is not fun. That's what I was thinking about getting. It looks really easy. I've read a lot of, or I've watched as well, a lot of like YouTube videos about it and kind of reviews, and I've heard people talk about it, etc., etc. So I'm gonna try it. I just getting it all going and then buying another bottle of gas has been my problem because a couple of places, some people have told me, oh, the gas is really cheap, and then other people are like, yeah, the gas is like $400. And then finding somewhere that's open on the weekends or open late enough to where I can leave work and then go get it has also kind of been a problem. So, you know, that's pretty much where I'm at. I want to use it, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. What do we got up here? Any other questions? Anybody have anything else they wanted to know? Any trucks you want to see before I just start putting wheels together or something? Taking things apart. My idea is I want my cage to mimic a human skeleton, arms being kind of like the A pillar, legs being the C pillar. Holy cow. And then the rib cage being the main body. Whoa, that's going to look wild. Joey's RC Life. I look bored. I'm not bored. After watching this, there's a really big delay. So I'm probably going to back out of it on my iPad and then bring it back up. See if it can kind of catch up. Because that's why I was saying, do you guys want to see anything else? And then waiting, because what I'm seeing versus what you guys may be seeing versus what I'm doing. So it's kind of like I've got to sit here and wait for everything to catch up. It's not that easy to do. A nice TIG welded cage. Gas is like $60 Canadian when you own the bottle. I got tips for you when you do. I can TIG. I have a scratch start. I have a scratch start that I started with. I've done some bumpers and like I did some modifying of some eBay cages and things like that, like old Wraith cages. So I have a pretty decent idea of tigging and how that's all going to go. I've never TIG brazed, so that's something I'm going to kind of learn. But something I've said a bazillion times, and I tell everybody like on Facebook and stuff, I'm gonna do some bumpers and then do like maybe some sliders for a truck or two, and then I'll kind of go from there, building up. I've got a K5 over here. I need to build bumpers and some sliders, and I was thinking about doing like fender bars for. So I'll probably end up doing some stuff like that to try and get used to it, and then I'll start building cages with it. Um, let's see. Rudy said, "What make are the bumpers that fit the RC four-wheel drive Blazer K10 body better than the OEM?" The Traxxas ones, but they can be a bitch to mount. I literally have a set that I'm gonna put on the Burb right here. So they are. Hopefully you can see. No, you probably can't. They're a good 1/8 inch shorter or so. This is the rear, but the problem being they're made for the Traxxas mounts. I talked to Josh from RC Every Day about it because he did some, and he made some weird like. There's a piece that screws in here, and then that middle OEM RC full drive mount, and it like captures it, and it's just really sitting there by pressure. And I'm just not a big fan of that. That leaves a lot to sure hope that sticks kind of thing. So I'm gonna try to build some sort of mount. I was looking at it earlier, and I think I have an idea that it'd be like one and then these two on the end and stuff. So I think I can get that all done. But oh, sorry, this is the rear. My bad. This is the front. So probably end up doing that. But they are definitely a lot shorter. They are. So they don't have the rubber strip, which is what these have. That's the like bump out to the normal bumper shape, I guess. Robert, hello. I want to see that stuff that's not on the menu. What do you want to see? Like, you've literally, I don't know what else I can show you that you haven't seen. I think you wouldn't know what most of my vintage stuff is. I don't think, because you said you hadn't been really doing it that long. I have some Scorpions. I've got a TLT. Got my TXT, some Clodbusters. I've got some really ugly, stupid red and white dually that a guy sold me for really cheap. I've got my Pro. You guys have seen that. My K10. I don't really have anything new truck wise. I've been selling trucks, honestly. I've sold like 4 trucks in the last month, not counting what I sold at Rocktober. My YJ. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Hang on. I gotta put some trucks up. Hang on. Here's something you haven't seen. Proline 82 Chevy bumpers work as well. Oh, okay, nice. Let's see here. You guys haven't really seen this. On this later. Oh shit! Oh, there went parts. There's this. Uh oh. Hang on. That. And then let's see. We can pacify some Jeep people too as well. Oh shit. Balls. Oh well. There we go. I need to get my contacts to make them dually wheels. Dude, I have contacted every contact I have about making dually wheels. RC Forged kind of gave me the like, yeah, I'll do it maybe sometime at some point whenever I can and I feel like it. Bob is not really all that interested. Ingen would do it, but I know how much a set of four is. I could not. I don't know if I could swing doing a set of six. That'd be like a $600 set of wheels. I need some Alcoas. You could do it. I got super singles on this one. Um, Ingen makes all sorts of widths and stuff, but he's gotten busy enough to where he's not doing like immediate custom orders. You kind of have to like put your order in and then wait until he's running that style, and then he runs all sorts of different sizes and everything. Which I mean, it's whatever. That's his business, and hopefully his business is doing well. But it's a little bit more of a process, and it's a lot more of a wait than when I first started getting wheels from him. All right, so um, this will be up for sale. Not 100% sure what I want for it, but I'm gonna put it up for sale. It is a limited edition blue, all that jazz. If it doesn't sell within the next week or so, I will take all the parts off of it, put it into the K5 that I just showed you that I got, and probably cut the body up to make a pickup because I need a pickup cab. And it's got all the cool lights and everything that are already painted and shit, so that's real convenient. But so that'll be up for sale. It's brand new, never been run, never been. I don't know. Maybe somebody rubbed their wiener on it or something. I'm not real sure, but still pretty nice. And let's see here. Where do I put this? We'll put it over here in the trash can where it belongs. Got a stubby burb. Robert Eno said, I have some OG Scale Shop 8LWs. I don't know what those are, to tell you the truth. So I'm not real sure when that came out. I do have a gap where I sold everything and was only dealing with real cars for about 3 years. RC Granny, good night. Have a wonderful morning. Isn't it morning where you are or something like that? Or it's really late? Because I know Alan usually bails about now and says it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. So, anywho. So this is my stubby burb since some other burb got the dog dragon Asquith. It doesn't have a rear axle in it. But I wanted to try to buy the actual Stubburban that was that Turks and Jerps made from Teleguided, but he won't sell it to me. So kind of look like regular Vanquish wheels, but have 8-lug hubs with scale hardware. Oh, okay, nice. I know K&K will sell, and I know Locked Up sells those as well. The what was that AE8s or A8? Fuck, I don't remember. Still regret not buying the red V1. Oh yeah, I don't know if I still have them. To tell you the truth. Rudy said I love Suburbans. I do as well. Yeah, the machetes from Rocktober. I'm not 100% sure if I have them. I had a guy ask about the blue ones the other day, and I told him that I had no idea what I had left. I may have them. I mean, they may still be available. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to go check them out because I was selling. For those of you that weren't there, I was selling the shit out of some personal stuff. I think everybody would probably agree that I brought a lot of nice stuff to get rid of. Not really for any reason. I just, thinning the herd down a little. I don't need. Well, I didn't need a lot of things. I still got some stuff for sale I'd like to get rid of, but you know how that goes. Um, so yeah, this needs a lot of body work. It's whatever. It's just kind of here. I'm not in a huge hurry to get it done. I've got some other things that I really want to get done first. So I'm not sure if there's coyotes outside or I'm not sure. So do you know, are Sin people printing wheels, or where are they getting the badass wheels for them? I do know that you can get printed wheels. Are you talking about the 350 singles or the 450 duals? The duals, I bought the KG1 aluminums for the dually, for my square body crew cab dually. Chris said, "Nice squatted truck you have there." Thanks. It'll be cool eventually. It looks a hell of a lot better on camera than it is in person. That's for sure. I don't know how well you guys can see the 3D print kind of bowed down, so I'm gonna have to put a roof on it and stuff. But it's fine. The 450 duals. So the ones I have on my crew cab, like I said, those are the CEN, whatever the hell. Those are aluminum. I think they're KG1 duals for the F450. I'm pretty sure those are just like the aftermarket, kind of like where they make the traction bars and stuff. They're just all factory or whatever. And I've been seeing so many people breaking their plastic wheels, like the last month. I've seen like probably 4, 5, 7 sets, something along those lines. Rudy said, "Wish someone would make the '94 Suburban. Love them in the movie Clear and Present Danger." I had one. I had a 3D printed mid early '90s Blazer. It was on a 10.3 chassis, and it took me like a year to sell it. I finally sold it to Chris Mitten at Beat the Creek. These old flapping lips. How are you? Teleguided said, "Boom Racing makes an adapter that you can turn regular wheels into duals." No, nope, nope. That's. I mean, technically, there's two of them there. Um, but I think he's talking about like actual, like the concave. They go one way and then one way to the other side, dual wheels. I can show you what I have. I don't. I would assume you've seen it, but I can show you and we can talk about it. So I don't know if you're talking about this style or exactly what you're wanting. Um, but this is what I bought. I'm not really sold on the black on this truck. I thought about getting the bare aluminum or the polished aluminum ones just because I think they look a little better. But so yeah, I need to redo some of the things in this. It's not exactly up to snuff, but I had to get it done real fast. It's got some bubbly over here, and it's got a little bump on there. The roof isn't exactly. I don't know what happened here, but it needs a little bit of love. Um, yeah, if I bought the polished ones, I would say maybe I could sell you these, but these are modified to fit the wheel or the fit the tires and stuff. So these aren't really usable on anything but this or something like it. Pulled pork said, "Damn." I'm assuming that you like this, and I appreciate it. Yeah. Are there tires on those rims or rubber bands? Yes to both. These are Red Cat 26er tires. They are super, super thin. I've got the other two over here. Here, bitch. So that's what's on it. I did have buggy tires on it, but they were too tall. They needed to be smaller, so I bought those. So he was talking about your ass when I stood up. Oh, you'd be one of the first people to compliment me there. Pulled Pork said, "Yes, that's badass too." Thank you, thank you. So this is on a Red Cat chassis. I don't know how many of you have seen this or whatever. I didn't really do a video on it because I was so busy trying to get it done. But it's on a Red Cat Monty chassis. So the suspension does move. Front will go up as well. So yeah, 'tis a sick build. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I work my ass off on this thing. It's got custom made bench seats. I made them just out of flat stock styrene. Glued them together, put some foam on them, and shaped them, and then wrapped them in just some random fabric. I didn't have time to get the tailgate done, so it's still gray, but it is what it is. It displays okay. People like it. A couple people tried to pick it up. I would have liked to have thrown things at them, but it is what it is. It almost runs. The problem I had is the stock transmission, and it's a little 380 that comes in these. If I would have left it where it goes, there would be like no dashboard, and half the trans tunnel would be taken up. So it doesn't actually function front to back right now. And I'm still working on the steering servo because I would like it to actually, do RC things. But I do have the remote to where the suspension will work. So I got that far. But yeah, it's not a. It's like I said, I was hurrying to get it done. It's not beautiful, but you can kind of see if I flip it over. So basically, the Monty chassis ends here and over here, and there's just a piece of aluminum channel that connects the two. Yeah, it's really simple. It really wasn't. I mean, it wasn't hard. It was just very, very time consuming, and most of that came from the body. So that buckskin paint is amazing. Is it car paint or Tamiya paint? I paint all my square bodies with actual GM paint match from the auto store down the street. So this is actual buckskin and neutral white. I think is what this is. It's basically the GM white, but it's actual GM color match paint. So same with the Burb is light blue and Hawaiian blue. This truck is a 73 only turquoise, light turquoise color. The van is obviously not, but the pineapple is a 76, I believe, gold color. There we go. So my K10 here. Let me put this up. I'll get the other one. Or I'll get a different truck. So this is a 74 only color as well. This is lime gold metallic, and then it's got a shitload of patina on it. This one is, I think it's a 76, 77, 78 color. Both factory blues. Rudy said, does she hop? No. It is, it's squidded. Very nice build. Well done. Thank you very much. It doesn't hop I could, I guess. But honestly, that thing is so heavy. And it's well mounted. Like, it's sturdy. But I don't know if it's that sturdy. I'd like to put a trailer hitch on it, because I think that would be kind of cool to have it pull a trailer with something else on it. But I'm not 100% sure how I would hook to the chassis, because the chassis ends like basically right behind the rear wheels, and I wouldn't want to hook the trailer hitch to just the bed, because the bed's not structurally strong enough to hold all that weight. But yeah, the servos are too slow. It's more of like a air ride instead of like hydraulics. That's basically why I use that. MT Miner said, definitely a beautiful truck. Thank you. Hello, beautiful. Stopping in to say hello. Unfortunately, can't stay. Well, I appreciate it. And I will, talk to you whenever. I miss you. Robert, the blue almost looks like the Outdoorsman package paint. I don't know. I'm not real sure, to tell you the truth. I think I have 1,200 square body reference pictures in my phone. So I also have the actual, I'll just show you. That's the whole point of this, right? Oh, God. Damn, that looks heavy. This body's been on like 4 different trucks. About on the floor. And I don't think it's going to stay on that truck either. So I have these books and the color chips. So this one here, this is 73 all the way to 80. There's a bunch of pages in there. So it's all done by year. So this is what I use to actually color match everything. I remember the book. Very jealous. I'm dumb. I don't know what to tell you. I buy things that seem to make sense. So, but this is the easiest way. This is all 1990 PPG. So I kind of want to build an OBS Chevy. So I kind of got some early 90s. Plus, these also have the YJ colors in them, which I was going to use for this. So, you have anything back to 1969 paint? No, but you can buy it on eBay. If you just look up whatever car you're looking for, paint chip on eBay, you can find it. You can pull up like American Motors, like AMC, pretty much anything. I mean, I've got back to 73. I don't see why you couldn't get back to 69. But yeah, so I got YJ colors, TJ colors. What the hell is this thing? This is just a page. It doesn't mean shit. So, and then, yeah, I've got 86 Dodge colors. So, because I'm going to repaint this guy. Probably this forest green metallic color right there. Eventually. So, just depends on how everything goes. But yeah, that's what I do. Um, I looked up the colors for the LC80. Luckily, there's only one page of color schemes. When I was building that, was that an LC? No, LF. Fuck, I don't remember. Whatever the hell I built for Mitten, it was like a tan color, and it wasn't quite correct. And I asked him if he wanted me to paint it, and he said, well, "Let's see if we can find something." So I looked up paint colors. It's like Land Rover colors and Land Cruiser and all that stuff. They were like white, black, one color of blue, tan, a darker tan, a lighter tan, kind of a sandy tan, brown, like a buckskin cream color, and like a different shade of gray and some silk. Like they are only two versions of colors, and none of them were very pretty. None of them were better than what I had on it. So, had a '69 Nova that was like a pea green color. Would love to get that color. I mean, depends on what you call pea green. I've got like a light olive, medium olive. I've had a lot of late '60s, mid '70s cars, some late '70s and stuff. So I don't see why you couldn't. I had an old '88 that was like, well, it was like 9 different shades of green, but that's whatever. Dune Pearl is what I picked. Yes, just light tan. Yeah, it's a lot of different tans. So, oh, hey, you know what I just thought of? So, I took the RC 4-wheel drive engine, scale engine, out of this because it had a aluminum one, and I put it in the '90s show truck. So I took an SSD plastic and I put it in here, and it just does not work very well. And since this one's already kind of screwed up, and this isn't exactly like the nicest Jeep or truck ever, maybe I'll put this one back in here, and I can do that. Oh, shit. So there's my YJ number 3. Yeah, my third YJ. Once I make some more progress on that, I've got a video about halfway done for this. Setting up the steering has been a problem because I got this already taken halfway apart, so I don't really know what the hell it's supposed to look like, but I got that. Super cool body. Boop. Oh, I got this. Trying to pull out stuff that you guys don't usually see on videos because it's either covered or I haven't really done a video on it. This guy. I know I've shown it off a couple times, but not really a whole lot. Let you marinate on that for a second. That's about it. Toy. YJ is awesome. Thank you. The YJs are getting scarce. Yes. Yes, they are. And what was crazy was those on the Pajeros, as soon as they stopped making them, the price went much higher very quickly. So I've got 4 now. One I cut all up, and I wish I would have waited until I got the newest one because I would have cut that one up because it's still kind of broken. I do have a random question. What is your one money not a consideration in RC that you would buy? I don't know. I mean, like the easy answer is a new Origin or like a Ripper, but I mean it's cool, but it has the same problem as far as I'm concerned as the Optic that I've said 1,000 times. If I'm going to take a buggy out, it's going to be a steel tube chassis that I built, not a plastic formed or CNC cage. Like, it's definitely cool and it has its purpose. It's just not for me. I'm not the target audience, which is completely fine. But I will say, I mean, they're nice as shit. I'm not really missing anything vintage. I've got my Scorpions. I've got my TLTs. I have a TXT. I've got 2 Clodbuster crawlers now. I have... In all honesty, if you were to give me a pile of money, I would probably buy more things like the Van and the Burb. Like the really one-off, super nice, like hard body, can't really do anything but build it yourself or find the 3 people that are capable enough to build it. That would be what I would do. I don't really have, like, I don't really have anything that I always think about and go, oh, I really would love to have that. Like, I don't have I don't really have that. I don't know. I have a lot of stuff that I really wanted that I've either bought or built. So now I just build random weird shit. Like that one RC that you would give your left nut for. Yeah, I don't know. It would be something that I saw and was like, oh, I want that. Ryan, hey Matt, what is going on? You know, just showing off trucks and hanging out right now. Yeah, dude, I don't know. I mean, the Suburban's pretty cool that Teleguided has. I do like that. Probably something from Turks and Jerps. If I had to really, really narrow it down and you wanted an answer, it would be something along those lines, like from Turks and Jerps, where it's either a replica or some of that stuff he builds is so scale point on and has like all these little, I don't want to say parts and pieces, but like he just does something that just makes it so over the top better than what a lot of people do. And I don't really know how or like what he does or whatever. Maybe some of it's his camera work. But I mean, his trucks are killer. I've seen some of them in person. Oh, let's see. Rob, the audio is really low, or is it just me? I think when you came in, I wasn't speaking into the microphone. I was looking over here, trying to use my brain, which takes a lot of my effort. Tool time. A Blazing Blazer would be nice to add to the collection if prices weren't up there. Yeah. Ryan said, I'd like to have one of Scale Builders Guild's builds. Yeah, I would like to have something that Matt built. I mean, that would be super cool. But I don't really know that he has anything that I would want. I don't really follow him too closely, but I mean, I know who he is. I know he builds really, really nice stuff. So I don't know. In all honesty, I don't know that I would buy a whole lot of stuff versus give me a month off work and I wouldn't say unlimited money, but a couple $1,000, and I would just build my own stuff with just all the time, really. I have a phone full of ideas. Now, if we're talking about just collector stuff that's not crawler related, I guess I'm kind of with Tool Time here. A really, really nice Blazing Blazer would be really sick. I don't really get into the bruisers. I'm not a real big Toyota guy, so the Blazing Blazer is super cool. Um, Maybe one of the like chain drive Kyosho 4-wheel drives, like I think it's a Datsun, and then they made a square body version as well. That would be kind of cool. Um, I don't know, really. I'm not 100% sure. SVG's LC60 is a Butte. I don't know that I've seen that. I'd have to go look at that. I do not like that thing he built that's on like rift axles that he printed. Not a huge fan of that. I don't like that sci-fi Mad Max style. So I mean, anything that you have, even that would be remotely close to that, I'm out. Um, and I've also never really thought about this because like I've just started building everything. Although my I won't say that my stuff is on the same level as some of those guys. So I guess that's SVG built an Earth Roamer on a Traxxas 6x6. That thing was cool. I'm not a huge 6x6 fan, but building that whole bed on that, uh, I don't know what that cab is, the 6x6 Traxxas cab, that thing was pretty sick. Um, let's see. Peabody's Apiary. Okay. What's up? Getting back into RC, going the crawler route, 110 or bigger. Give me your top pick for our first rig. Pick one. 100% I would pick a VP scale truck. So depends on your budget. Fordyce, Phoenix, um, probably not the mullet or like a carbon, but that would just be me. I don't really get into comping a whole lot anymore. So if you're doing a scale truck, that's what I would do. If you wanted a little more realism, you can take that exact truck just like this. Like this is a Vanquish truck. Put a RC 4-wheel drive body on it of any Toyota, whatever you wanted to do, square body, whatever, and you can kind of build whatever you wanted. But as far as the base, I would always go with a VP truck, just because I like having all the same thing as far as underpinnings, because then if something breaks and I'm out somewhere like at an event, I can rob parts off of one, put it on the other. And in all honesty, it's just it's just better. Like it just is. They have their problems just like anybody else, but I think it's just better. Um, that would be my pick for a RTR straight out of the box. Um, okay, I'm gonna go with Cody here. I like to build my own stuff. If money wasn't an option, I probably wouldn't be into RC. Yeah. I mean, I think his question was trying to, you know, if money wasn't an option and you had to buy an RC, but I do 100% agree with you. If I had more money, like I win the lottery tomorrow and I'm all of a sudden 500 millionaire, whatever, I'm buying a whatever kind of house my wife wants, and I'm buying like a property with 220 by 60 pole barns, and I'm just filling them full of cool shit. I've already told my buddy, like, we've had that whole, like, if I won the lottery, like, I'm buying some stupid ass cab over from like 1976 and a 5-car hauler, and we're just going up and down, just getting marketplace like LS swapped 52 Studebakers, or just dumb, stupid things. And I'm just gonna have like 40 $5,000 vehicles in my shops and just drive them like I don't care really. But that would be what I would do. I want SVG's LS Post Jeep. Yeah, that's okay. That I have to agree with. That thing's pretty sick. Um, that would definitely be pretty high up there now that I think about it. Like I said, I've never really thought about that because I have never asked him to buy it because think I don't think I would be in that price range. So that's kind of out of my thing. Colorado Adventure Club. We share a similar dream. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother. Ryan said I build my RC trucks like I would build them in real life. That's another thing that I've tried to explain to some of my real car friends. They're like, "Oh, why do you have all those RC trucks and da da da? If you sold all of them, you could have like one or two really nice cars." Well, I could, but I couldn't have anything that I have in 1-to-1 scale, even if I sold everything. Like, like half of these trucks, if they were real, like this turquoise crew cab, right? There's one on Marketplace by me. It has, I think it's like 16 by 14 welds. It's on boggers. It's 12 valve swapped with, I think a 4L80E or a 5-speed, one or the other. Like I said, it's a crew cab, short bed, lifted, super super nice. Dude wants like $98,000 for it. I can't sell all my RC stuff and buy that. I can't buy a $60,000 tube chassis Jeep that would be the equivalent of, like something running on 4S super wheel speed, lots of power on tap. I can't buy that. I could buy that Accord. I've got a Tamiya FF03 with an Accord body on it. I could probably buy that. Like the dually that I just showed you, the buckskin tan one. Like I couldn't buy that thing even if I sold everything. It would be, that's a, you know, super nice if it was. It's still a multi $10,000 truck. Colorado Adventure Club. I also prefer scale over goofy. Yeah, for sure. I get it, and I think I will say, Jordan and I have, and I believe Doug have talked about the arch that everyone kind of goes in. They buy their first truck, they lift it up real high, put the biggest tires on they can find, figure out that it handles like absolute dog shit, slam it down, and then cut the body all to hell, go 100% for performance, do that for a while, then realize that it kind of looks like ass, and then kind of start going to scale. And I think that's an important step. I was actually just thinking about this today when I saw a video on the Vision RC group page. This guy had a crawler and it, barely had a cab left. And I was thinking, because we had discussed, I was actually talking to 8Lug, Jeremy, lives right by me. I was talking to him yesterday about, once I set up a truck, I usually don't change a whole lot. Like maybe the springs, I'll change to a heavier, lighter spring and maybe a little bit of shock oil. But I usually don't add too much more weight. I may change the knuckles around, but like I know about what I'm trying to achieve and about what a truck needs to work at least decently well, especially for a scale truck. And I think that goes a long way back to when I was doing 100% performance, like when the Axial or the Scorpion first came out, and, I've had a couple comp trucks since then. That teaches you what moving things around and putting weight different places and how much the center of gravity plays a huge part in the trucks. And you've got a scale body that, weighs whatever the hell, 10 times what a Lexan body weighs. And so you kind of figure out in that process how to build a better truck. So then you just take what you have, build the best drivetrain with it and chassis, and then you just put a heavy ass hard body on it, and then it still performs well, especially for a scale truck kind of hard body thing. Does that make sense to you guys? Colorado said the buggy stuff for me lately has been a fun challenge, not only to fit the stuff into it, but the technique it requires to drive it fluently. Yes, I've said 1,000 times, I really couldn't drive very well whenever I really started hanging out with Jordan and Doug. They have both pushed me a lot with comps and then going out with scale trucks and trying to follow both of them, trying to keep up with both of them doing different builds. Like when Jordan and I built the F-Toys and everything, I'm trying to build something that's going to keep up with what he's building. So I personally, I don't know if I push them at all. I really doubt it, but they've both pushed me to continue trying to just go farther and farther and learn more. They've definitely slowed me down a lot as far as teaching me, kind of let the truck work. Especially at the beginning, I was just like, I'd give it about 3 seconds, it wouldn't work, and I'm backing up and hammer down, shooting over whatever it was. Um, and I've learned a lot, which I would assume, kind of shows in my newest 1.9 Pro mod. I guess you know what I'm saying. That kind of sounds weird, but I can tell over the course of time the things that I'm building that work better and better. I know that a lot of it comes from those two teaching me things and also pushing me to do better and be better at what I'm doing. Um, so Tool Time said 1,500 to 2 grand in an RC build compared to what you get in 1-to-1. I'm building RC, 1,000%. I have a very rusty 76 Buick Century wagon. Well, it's not very rusty. It's very patinaed to death. The bottom of the quarters are rough. The bottom of the doors are rough. The body by itself is probably maybe worth 3 grand as a shell. And I don't even want. I bet I've put 10 grand in the drivetrain, turbo LS, 4L80, 9-inch, all that stuff. Like, I don't know how many RC cars I could build for that. Because you start doing like 1,500 to 2 grand is a lot of money in an RC truck. In 1-to-1 cars, it's just nothing, and it's hard to watch 2 grand disappear and be like, well, I got 2 rear wheels. I don't have tires put on them, or if you do have tires, like that's what you got, the tires and wheels for the back, and then you wait to save up another $1,200 for front wheels and tires. Like, it's just crazy. MT Miner said, "See, scale does nothing for me, but that's just my opinion." That's fine. That's one of the cool things about doing all this is there's a slot for everybody to fit into somewhere, and that's completely fine with me. I don't get into the uber duper scale, 3.5-inch tires, don't touch it. We've got a winch everywhere, and if you roll the truck over, I'm winching you, and we're using sticks and logs and hook. Like, I don't go that far. So I completely understand the other side of that, of hard bodies are stupid. Let's put, the biggest crazy bent links on and see if it can go straight up 3 feet and then turn to the right and, whatever. Colorado Adventure Club. You have my boy Travis over there, even with his vibrating finger, he's a beast. Yeah. Travis is a killer driver. And I've also said, I'd say the same thing about him. I don't see him very much, not like I do Jordan and Doug, but when we do E-Rock, I'm trying to keep up with him basically the whole time. I watch his truck and I watch him do things, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if my truck will stick that, but like, we'll find out, I guess. Like, I never thought about going at it this way, and like things that work for him, and just kind of. It's always good to watch people that are better than you. It just is what it is. But I like Travis a lot. He lives a little bit too far away from me. Not as far away from you as me from you, but he's like an hour and some change south, so I don't see him. I see him a little bit through the summer. Right on 88, less capable trucks can be more fun to crawl. I would agree with that. I had fun with we built some stock TF2s, the TF2 YJs that Jordan and I built. Those are fun. Taking out, tiny tire like K10s, that was kind of fun. My F toys on, I don't even remember what these are, four twos or some shit like that, pit bulls. It's not super capable, but it looks the part. And the pit bulls aren't exactly the greatest tires, but it's fun to run. Got some. I built a 419 buggy. I've got some shorter tire stuff. Not everything I have is on 475s for sure. I am building a very very small tire truck, but we'll get into that later. Let's see. Tommy, good evening. Cody said this is exactly why this hobby is so good for everyone gets to express their own opinion. I agree with that. Um, Everybody has a place. Your opinion, as long as it's not super crazy, is usually taken, at least received well. Uh, the only problem I've ever really had is I don't know any other way to help people that would go over better when they say, I'm going to try this. And I can literally just type out, hey, I'm not trying to be a dick, but I've been doing this for almost 20 years. And I can tell you that's not going to work. You want to do this because what you're trying to do gets you problems A, B, and C, where if you do it, this way and you do this kind of thing, it's going to alleviate all of that and yada, yada, yada. And they're like, well, that's what I want to do and you're dumb. Like, oh, okay. Like, I can't help those people. So just kind of is what it is. You can fail and watch it not work and then figure it all out yourself, I guess. Piss off. Um, Ryan said, I had the best time with my 6 scale buggy yesterday. I should have drove it more on the rocks to test it out since it's a new build still under construction. I love my 6. Um, if we did more 6 things and we had the terrain much closer, because we've got to drive probably an hour and a half or so at a minimum to get anywhere where we can really run 6s. But if we had closer terrain, I would probably have more than one. Um, I could definitely see myself building something kind of like it, like a Jeep tuber or something else, 3D printing half a body and kind of doing something else. But I love that thing, especially now that it's 4-wheel steer, and I've got it almost totally caged. It's super awesome. I love it a lot. Rudy said 2 grand is a clutch and brakes. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. I mean, the converter in my car was a grand. Like, and that just sits in there and spins and does magic converter things, and then you can't ever see it. And that's where I spent $1,000. Like, you spend so much money on rail cars, especially once you start doing anything performance related to them. It's freaking silly. Doug knows. Um, Hello, Doug. And Peabody said, I like this style of RC because you don't need a group to enjoy it, unlike oval racing. It helps to have friends. I have, 4 or 5 guys that I hang out with and my dad. And usually we can kind of go out, and it definitely helps because going out by yourself, you don't get kind of what I was just talking about, where one of you tries something and you may make it and you're like, oh, I'm going to try that. And then you have to figure out how your truck is going to do it. And you kind of like, you're kind of pushing each other, etc. When you're out by yourself, you may not see, like, I know when we went out to, when we went out on trailer October, Jordan and I both had, he had his We Rock truck. I had the Burr Buggy, which is drivetrain wise basically the same thing. And we were hitting lines and seeing, going through places, and he was like, oh, I'm gonna hit it this way, and it's like this caddy corner diagonal line where you turn, and I'm like, I didn't even see that. I was going at it basically the other way or whatever. He's like, oh, that's cool, I didn't really see that line or whatever. So going out by yourself, you don't really get that um, experience, I guess. And RC is definitely always better with a couple friends. I will 100% admit, I got like 3 or 4 people, and that's my group. I don't do that whole like, hey, everybody in Indiana, I'm going here on Saturday, because this is like my chill time, and a bunch of random assholes out there trying to talk about whatever the hell and smoking cigarettes and throwing shit. Like, I don't like it. I looked down and I saw Doug's um, Doug's reply. Empty miners, hell, I'm only 2.5 hours south of you. Yeah, yeah. None of us are really far away, but like just running over to Ohio to see any of my friends over there is 2 hours and some change. That's a 4 to 5 hour round trip. to come see somewhere down there by you. Like that's a 5 hour trip, there and back. Um, it's not close. You know what I'm saying? It's not far. Like it's not like from us to Cody in Colorado, um, but I would definitely get together with more people, just not certain more people, and just not an open invitation, I guess. Oh, let's see. Colorado Adventure Club said, I've been enjoying the dude posting the 2 to 3 foot crawler. Have you seen that thing? It has me dead. No, you're going to have to send me a link to that in Messenger because I am very, very interested in seeing that. I know Doug, or not Doug, but I know Jordan said something to a guy about his IJ the other day because it was on tutus and I think like 5.4 boggers, and the links were at like a 45-degree angle. I bet this thing had like 6 inches of belly clearance, and Jordan was like, "Hey man, you're monster trucking, LOL, haha," like laughy face, and this guy was like butt hurt, butt hurt. And the thing is like if you get butt hurt over Jordan saying something to you, the rest of the world is really going to upset and piss in your Cheerios because that's craziness. Let's see. Doug said, "My vision of scale may not be the same of someone else's vision. Build to make yourself happy, not in order to please others." Oh, I agree with that. I would agree with that. I think, like I was saying, my only thing is, I know you guys have seen that meme where I can't remember that dude's name. He's on like SNL, and it always has like some sort of "why do this," blah 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 blah, and then he turns around and shoots him, and he's like, "So anyway," and it's like a 3 part, whatever. And I've got one saved in my phone. It's like he's going, "New people can never get any help," and then it's like old heads back here trying to help you and tell you what to do, and he like shoots them, and he's like, "So anyway, I can't get any help, and I can't figure this out, whatever." It's kind of just like that. That's the way I see it. Um, so Ryan said, "My two buddies have their sixes 4-wheel steer, dude. That's a game changer because a six 2-wheel steer or front only turns like a freaking bus. 4-wheel steer to where you can actually pivot the damn thing is killer." Doug J, you have inspired me to build a crazy looking tuber. Yeah, he was talking about it earlier. Jay Geezy said, "I have an 86 944 turbo, and the money I dropped on that has been ridiculous." I almost bought one of those. And then I wanted to LS swap it, and then I did some research and figured out how hard it was going to be to mess with all that shit, and I did not. Because I like those. Let's see. Colorado Adventure Club said 3 to 4 dudes max is my favorite time. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Because like I said, it just a big group like that. I'm not able to chill and just be calm. I get all people start getting on my nerves, because like we're out in the middle of the woods. I don't really want to hear you yammering about a bunch of dumb shit to, Tim over here and talking about the Broncos and football, and like I don't care and I don't want to hear it. I want to just be out here going, "Hey man, look at this line. Do you five want to try and all follow this?" "Yeah, sure, okay." And then we do stuff like, and then you got people that you don't really mesh with, like well enough, and then it's just awkward. I don't like it. It's not that I don't like people. I love talking to people. Like when we're at an event, I just want to go out and trail with very very limited people, just because it's so much more calming that way. Let's see. Tommy said, "I really enjoy the community and the knowledge sharing. I also really like all the different ways that everyone attempts to accomplish a similarly capable build and how we attack lines differently." 100%. And I will say, Tommy is one of the people that will ask a question and actually listen to what you're saying. I have noticed that if you ask anything and, the three of us or whatever, like, "Hey, this is what I would do. I would get these parts and do this with them, yada, yada, yada." Um, because some people ask and then we tell them something, and then 10 minutes later they're on Facebook asking the same damn question, and we're like, "Well, I just wasted 15 minutes of my life telling you what I would do and the things I would buy," and then you just basically threw that all out and want to ask a bunch of ding dongs that are 90% usually just throwing things out in the stratosphere to see what happens as an answer. But Colorado Adventure Club said, I'll make it up there soon. Trav said we're going to comp in his backyard. Yeah, I know he was saying something along the lines of like he has a track in his backyard. Or backyard. I'm not sure if it's like backyard or like literally his backyard. But and then Peabody said, "Can you show your six?" I can. Give me a second. Let me go stretch and warm up before I pick it up. I feel like I need to do like 3 or 4 sets of squats. Come on, fat girl. Oh my god. Hang on, let me move everything. Oops, sorry, but that was loud. Oh god damn it. Fuck, this thing's heavy. Woofda. There you go. Doug said at T Miners, if my winter builds go according to plan, it will be for sale at BTC. Oh, nice. Colorado Adventure Club said it's sick, to be honest. I haven't seen it, I don't think. Rad Raff, hello. What's up with DR cheating on the show? He's on with Op 11. I know he came in here just for a second and said hi, and hopefully he's doing big things. Colorado Adventure Club said that's cute. Thanks. You know, I like my little feller. Rudy said that's a handsome beast. Thank you. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's not perfect. It needs a lot of work as far as it needs a lot of refining. I keep messing with it and I'll do shit to it and it's never 100% right. It's kind of like just got it together for another time to go out. So I don't know. It's okay, but it is what it is. So like at first, let's see. At first it was a full body. I had already narrowed it when I got it, and I put the bar and I did the roof and all this stuff. And then now I've chopped it off like here, like here, and it's all tube back here. I pinched the rear. I've got the front. The front's pinched as well. God damn. I was gonna pinch the front a little differently because it's not pinched until like right here. And a lot of trucks 1-to-1 will pinch them right after the firewall, which is not at the fender, so you come out a little bit. But when I tried to do that, the shocks were in the way because the shocks are so damn big. So I had to go out, forward a little bit more, and then in. And so now it clears, and it clears the tires and everything. So, and I got some random ass action figure driving. Barbie in the passenger seat. I got her on sale. I popped her head off. Got one with multicolored hair from one of my daughters, and she's got a little jumpsuit and shit. So the seats are mounted to like an L bracket to the frame, and then the batteries sit under them. So there's a battery on each side. I chopped the doors down. The steering wheel is actually made out of a beadlock ring that Bateman didn't finish the rest of, so I had like 2 out of 4. So it's a black with green splatter, I think. Yeah, it's black with green splatter. It kind of matches. I made the column, the dash. I got a tack in here from God only knows what. I don't know. I built this little fuel cell that covers the servo. So you guys can see that here. Jesus. Oofda. Got a little jerry can back there. I made the shock towers. So, like I said, I like it a lot. It's super cool. I had my wife sew on this fabric top, so this is actual fabric here. got lights that have never been wired up because Dustin's always busy. Or it's monsooning. Let's see. I'm getting ready to build my first hard body and metal tube buggy, so super excited about the winter builds. Also getting a new 3D printer. Nice. So time to make some parts. You are just coming up in the world, sir. Ryan said, how do you like your new Treps, Matt? I like these a lot. I had Tusks on there, and I don't know. There was something about them I didn't really like. But I like these a lot. It needs new wheels to kind of space everything out a little bit because these are SSDs have a higher positive offset, and I had to get bigger hexes, and I don't like the way that it's set up right now, but it runs and it's fine. As far as for 10th scale, I bought 3 more sets of Treps. Even though they are in G8s, if you put them on a heavy enough truck, they work really well. If they made Treps in Predator, I would probably put them on everything I own. Whew. All right, need to take a breather. MT Miner says, is your 6 tube or rod? It is tube, 1/4-inch hydraulic tube. It needs some bracing that I didn't really get around to. Like I said, this probably next spring I'll end up, I'll take it all apart, blast it, and it just needs like a couple little like a little bar going from here to there, you know, kind of thing like that. And I'd like to chop the frame out and put a full tube frame in there, so I might do that. Pulled pork, badass 6, thank you very much. Cody said G8 for life. It just doesn't work as well as Predator here on a lighter truck. We don't have grippy rock. All of our rock is basically like glass, and then it's usually wet. So, but I think scrubbed in on a heavy truck, G8 works okay. Matt Beast from Deluxe, he swears up and down that Predator is too soft, and he only uses G8. It works for him. I see a difference, and I usually try to run Predator. In all honesty, Green Compound from J Concepts works better than anything here, I think, and I think a lot of us, because almost everybody in the like Sorka class was running Tusks, and that's really what works around here. But they don't have any licensed tires, and I don't know, some of their sidewalls look kind of goofy, and I just don't really like them as well as an actual licensed tire. Let's see. Call to Crawl. I made it in time to say hi tonight. Yes, sir. We technically started an hour later than normal because of the time change. So Ryan said, I haven't driven with Treps and 10th scale yet, but I have them on some rigs. I like them a lot. Once they scrubbed in, and like I said, on a truck that's heavy enough to kind of put some pressure on them, they work pretty well. One of the tires I'm kind of excited to try and drive is I've got the Iron Rocks from Deluxe. I have a set of those on my Nilla Bear. And anything else? I don't think so. I have a set of Pitbull, or not Pitbull, Braven Berserkers on Pineapple, and that works really well. That was one of the times where I needed a firmer tire because I had Falcons on it to begin with from BP, and they were so soft that I think they were just kind of flopping everywhere instead of actually grabbing anything, because, like I said, that truck's like 9 pounds and some change. MT said, I'm still digging with Hyrax. I never have liked Hyraxes. I can't get over how ugly they are. And I know that's really not the point because they work really well, but never could do it. New boot goofing, for sure. Calder Crawl said, watched your last one yesterday and really enjoyed it. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, I can show you my 10 scale Treps. I also repainted the Burr Buggy, the orange one. I just scratched shit on the top of it, but that's okay. I don't know if I showed you guys this last week, but this has Treps on it. They're starting to feather like out here on the edge of the tread and then on the inside, so they're starting to actually get worn in. this needs cleaned, and I need to go to like a rough parking lot somewhere and do some burnouts and digs and stuff, and really get them to scrub in. But they work really well on this, that's for sure. So once I put some stripes or something on this, I think this thing's gonna be awesome. Because right now it's very bleh. I don't know who was talking about the squishy deluxes, but there you go. There's a little more slow squishy porn for you. So I like this thing a lot. This is probably up there with one of my favorite trucks. I think this is probably right now my favorite tuber, with my Nilla Bear coming into a very, very close second. Did you make aluminum panels for the bird buggy? Yes, sir. Yep. Like I said, I used the Lexan as a template and then just cut these out of the aluminum. I made a hood as well. Um, it's not exactly as shapely as the Lexan, but I think it looks pretty cool. I wish I could put the hood line in it. I think the only tires I own are Hyrex and Swampers. Swampers are my favorite one-to-one tire. If I was going to build like a mud truck or whatever, I really like them. If I had a trail truck, I had some 39-inch Swampers on a truck I was building. I had a K30 for a while that I was back halving and all sorts of shit, but I don't really know if you'd call it back. It's like mostly back halving, but still had leaves. I don't know. Anyway, I'm definitely a Swamper fan. That's what I have probably on more trucks than not. But I really like these Treps. The foam kind of took some work to get right in the front because they are a little taller. So using a 475 printed foam leaves a lot of air gap. So I don't even remember what I used. I used some random 3D printed foams that I got from a guy when I bought a bunch of stuff. These are blue, so they're not actual Three Brothers, but I mean they squash a little bit, but they really don't go a whole lot farther than that. So they're kind of like that second density is very dense. Rob said 3D print a mold and press those lines into the hood. I've thought about that. I thought about getting like a roller and kind of doing something there. I don't know. I think, so I built the front. It's like the front is real similar. The one thing that I did was the sides are not nearly as long because these rubbed the whole time we were running. So I kind of cut them up a little higher. But I do, so this J Concepts body, this is a tucked square body hood. It comes with like, I think it's like 10 grills or something like that. So I was just going to take one and slap it on there. And I think that'll help the look a lot. But I do want to do something along those lines. Ryan said, I love that buggy. What do you think of the Reef scrub tires? I haven't used them yet. I have a bunch of their other stuff, and their compound seems really nice, but I haven't used the scrubs yet. They look a lot like crawlers, so tread-wise, they should be pretty good. This is a set of the Crux. I mean, this tire feels, I mean, it's literally sticking together on itself. I don't see why they wouldn't work. I think they look cool. They're a little weird, but I think they look neat. I've got a set of cheaters that I want to put on something, the pin tires, but I don't know what the hell I'd put them on. So that'll be a next summer mat problem, not a winter mat problem. Let's see. Cold Crawl said, what does that rig weigh? I honestly don't know. I would say with a battery, it's probably pushing close to 7. Probably like 6 and some change, because I've got deluxe knuckles on the front. So that's what, almost 700 ounces of brass just on the knuckles. It's aluminum D44s. It has a full length VFD twin with all the Shifty Boys and Cody's dig or burn. Um, it's got a full interior. Well, not a full interior, I guess, but it's got 4 seats and I don't know. I can weigh it. Do I have? I don't have the. I don't have the stuff to weigh it right now. I don't have a to put my USB in. Let's see. MTE said when I get around to it, I want to know. I want to what? I know I want to inlay copper panels in my body panels. Whoa, that's gonna be crazy. That'd be cool though. With a hammered look, nice. Ryan said, "What's up to Cold Crawl?" So, but yeah, I want to put. I'll probably end up putting like some white, like two-tone down the side, kind of like square body looking, because it is modeled after a square body. So, you know. John Lau, good night, sir. I think I'm gonna probably end up wrapping this up here pretty soon too, because my body still thinks it's 10 o'clock and not 9, and I'm freaking beat. I woke up really early this morning and couldn't sleep. Couldn't go back to sleep. Trying to think of anything else really. I sold some stuff to, or not. I sold some stuff to. I put some stuff up for sale in the members area here on YouTube that'll be making its way to my group eventually. But I know I say it a lot, but my members area, I usually try to do stuff and make it worth it. And you do. I would definitely say that everybody would agree that is a member. You do get to see the for sale stuff and have first shot at it. If you care about things like that. MT said, "Sorry, I'm typing and watching football instead of perforating." No big deal. No big deal. So yeah. Trying to think of anything else I got. Almost bought a Stampede today. My personal very first RC car was a first gen Stampede in like 1998, and I found like 3 or 4 on eBay, and I thought about buying them. One of them was pretty clean, so that's really the only thing I've been up to. Trying to not buy a really slow mechanical speed control 20 turn Stinger Stampede from the late 90s for no reason other than just to have it and think about how I'm old. Yeah. Looking around to see if I have anything new. I really don't. I haven't really bought a whole lot of stuff. I mean, you literally just watched a video where I unpacked a big ass box of RC full drive, but I got some stuff to do on my Pro that's coming up. If you guys were interested to kind of know what I'm getting into, like in the next couple weeks, I have a Vision wheel video. That's actually really cool. It's basically all the Visions I got, the BTC ones, the new ones I got, some of the ones that I got at BTC as well. I have some parts coming for my Pro to fix it and make it look a little bit better. I'm waiting on some parts from VP. I took that truck apart, so that's really not going to count. I'm building another shop truck. Other than saying that it's a K10 body, I really can't divulge a whole lot about it. It's going to be cool, I think. I haven't seen anybody else do it. So, let's see the Pro. I can do that. I'm going to move my 6 real quick so I don't trip over it. you go. There's my pro. Let's see. Tommy said, I need a video on all the parts and pieces I need to build a hard body. Well, you need to figure out what kind of hard body you want to build, sir. Doug said, you have any Fusion SE units to part with? I have one Fusion, and it's in my F-Toy. And supposedly that's the 4-cylinder beep-beeping thing that we have to use because it can't be too powerful because it's an F-Toy. And I don't need to do things like that from what I was told. So it has to stay in there. Tommy said, planning on a Tamiya F350 that will be a U.S. National Parks livery. Oh, that's cool. Are you doing a scale truck with the F350, or are you doing just a hard body to have a hard body on like a class 2, or what are you doing with it? I'm only asking because there's some things to think about with the F350. That's what I'll say. Matt, do you know of any company that makes pinion gears for the 6-scale rigs? So, Vidavon apparently makes a Mod 8 ring and pinion, but I don't know how the gears transfer, and I think they make an overdrive. I'm more of a fan of underdriving something, so to put an even smaller ring gear in the front of a axle that already has problems with ring and pinion, I really wasn't too excited to do. Plus, they're Vidavon, so they're fucking expensive. Not a fan of the Fusion. So it has its place. I don't like them because up until a month ago, I couldn't run 4-cell on them. I run 4-cell on almost everything. I am a big fan of volt up, gear down. So I would rather run more voltage, spin everything faster, and then gear it down. And only being able to run 3-cell on it, with it being a full-size motor. Also, through Deluxe, I can get Holmes Hobby stuff, and then once he came out with his 2-in-1, I like it a lot. I know a lot of people have said that it wasn't good and all this other stuff, but if you don't hook up the drag brake wire and you just set it to 100%, that thing's killer. That's what's in the Pineapple and in... I don't know, I just looked at it. It's somewhere. It might be in my Nilla Bear? No, it's in the Burr Buggy. So the Pineapple and the Burr Buggy both have the Holmes 2-in-1, and they're killer. I love them. You can run 4S on them too. So Rudy said there's a China copy of the Tamiya 350 might be a cheaper body. I know the F350s are probably pretty cheap. So I don't know. Especially wild saying there's a Chinese copy of a 350. Like, I can't imagine they're too expensive because they're still making them. Because I know, like, the Pajeros were only like, I think when I bought my last one, it was like $34 or something, plus like $10 shipping. So $40. I had a whole, and I think the F350 was cheaper than that. I could be wrong. I don't know. Let's see. Call the Crawl and Doug are talking about things. Cody said Fusion is my fave. I get it. It's like, it's nice for what it is. I can't do what I want with it. So, and up until recently, I was kind of a Castle fanboy. So I was doing Castles and Black Jackets because I'm a Three Brothers dealer. Well, now that they have the Yellow Jacket and the Beekeeper, which is now my favorite combo, if I'm going to do it separate, and then I've got the Holmes for 2-in-1 that I get a discount on, in all honesty. So I don't really, I guess what I'm saying is I don't have a reason to buy a Fusion anymore, especially now. So that's kind of why I've stayed away from them. It's not really anything against Hobby Wing or whatever. Like, I just don't. I have other options that are better for me, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Ryan said, "What's a pinion gear? Wait, what? Oh, okay? Sorry, I thought you meant pinion gear, like as far as ring and pinion. I honestly don't know. It has adjustment, so somebody has to make them. I don't. Have you checked Axial? That would be where I would start. I think mine's fine. I have a black jacket, and it's a. I think mine's a 6S, so it's an 860, a 960, something along those lines. It's under 1,000 kV, and I don't remember what mine has. I think it's a stock pinion, and mine seems fine. But you're also not really supposed to be trailing in high gear. I use high gear to get to wherever I'm going, and then shift down. So Tommy said the Tamiya F350 is only like 26 bucks for the cabin bed. That's what I thought, but I still need all the other trees to complete it in an interior. Um, F350s are like the Tamiya Hilux, lots of parts trees to buy and build. All the hard bodies are like that. The K5, K10s, the Toyotas, they're all like that. The main body is like $45, but then the tailgate hinges are $30, and the hood hinges are another 20, and the grill is 30 with the headlight and all the lenses, and like that's where they get you. They get you in all that dumb shit, um, which really screws you when you find something nice that's like half there at a swap meet or something, and then you got to go buy the rest of this shit. And by the time you buy the rest of this shit and this, stuff that you think you got a deal on, you're in it the same amount of money as if you would have just bought a brand new unboxed body kit. And that sucks. I've been there before. I've done that a couple times. Bodies are cheap. Complete bodies ain't. That is precisely. That is exactly what I was just saying. Um, Fusions are nice for plug and play. I also suck at wire management. I have to learn how to solder because my wire management is basically just folding a bunch of shit over on itself and then zip tying it to a frame rail. Ryan said, "I haven't, but I'll look. Thanks. No problem. That's the place I would look. I just look at Axial because it's an Axial. But I would assume Red Cat now makes some sort of pinion. I would just make sure the pinion, the shaft size is the same. But other than that, I don't know. Contrary to what I said earlier, I do want to scale out my F450. There you go. Um, there's lots of what is that? Who is that? That one company, the truck. Shit, they're in Texas. Um, they make all those 350 and 450 parts. Scale truck shop. Shit, I don't know. Anyway, they make a lot of cool stuff for it. RC 4-wheel drive do body sets. Not sure I've ever seen Tamiya F350 and Hilux body sets. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure all Tamiyas are individual bullshit. But Tommy, so what I was gonna say is the F350 is what I would consider probably a true 10th scale, and a lot of things nowadays are not actual 10th scale. They're more 9.2, 9.3 down to like high 8th scale. So when you put a set of axles under it and you put any kind of wheel that's not a complete high offset, suck the tires in, they're very narrow and the chassis is very wide. So the bodies don't really, if you care about this thing, I do. It's a big point of my OCD is making sure everything's kind of like on size. It's very small. It's almost like a Clodbuster body because it's basically designed around damn near the same truck. They're just a little different shaft drive versus motor on axle. So they're almost like 12th scale size, almost like a Blackfoot body or the same way. All those older hard bodies from Tamiya are all very small compared to everything else. Calder Crawl said, I spent the weekend building a custom light kit for my FJ45. That is my literal hell. But I am super glad that you found enjoyment in that. That sounds pretty cool. Like I said, I have to learn how to solder so I can start doing some of this shit. Because that's where I think that's where I'm lacking now is starting to do lights. Like the Suburban needs lights. A couple of my trucks need lights, and I can't do anything about it. Crawlers and Customs does the Sin stuff. That's not it, is it? This guy like 3D print. It's something like or scale shop mafia. I don't know. Tommy said I would pick the hardest body. Yeah. It's not the hard. I mean, you're still gonna buy stuff. I don't know that they sell. I don't think Tamiya sells an interior for it either. I'm pretty sure they just put tinted windows on the factory one. You've got to build it or do like 3D printing stuff. Ryan said, I tried to put a motor system in my goat built buggy out of another rig, but the wires from the motor to the ESC were too short. So I'm going to use a Holmes 2-in-1, probably a 2300 kV or 3000. I don't know yet. A 2300 on 4S gets the pineapple around just fine. And I am a big fan of decent wheel speed. I think a 3000 would probably be on the verge of a lot for a 475 if you didn't gear it down properly, especially on 419s. I think that thing's damn near perfect for the 2300. But a 3000 is going to be that'll get you some giddy up, sir. Yeah, to me, being a plastic model company, actually do accurate scale. Yeah, but like I said, I think their actual tint. That has been I don't necessarily want to call it a downfall, but for me personally, that's been something that's kind of annoying. Is everyone got together and decided that 12.3 was 10th scale wheelbase, which is the dumbest shit ever. A couple of the guys, I know Doug can definitely say, because he was there. I don't know how long Don's been doing it, but we used to use T-Max bodies, and they were scaled all sorts of, like the Savage bodies were usually longer because the Savage was longer. The T-Max and Revo bodies were kind of shorter, so you had a 72 Chevy that was, only, I think that one was like right at 12 inches, maybe just under a 12-inch wheelbase. So you just moved the links around, and you had to just build links or find links, whatever, to get the wheels where you wanted them. And I see where it makes sense for new people going, okay, I have a 10th scale crawler. That means a 12.3 inch wheelbase body, which covers everything, will swap right on. I get that. But I really think it did. I don't want to say some harm, but I don't think it was necessarily good for everything. And I mean, I know maybe that sounds weird, and I hope you guys kind of understand and know what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like the 10th scale Bushido. That thing's freaking huge. It's almost like, I think it's like 7th scale. That thing damn near is on scale with my SCX6. The 12th scale Bushido is actually 10th scale, or like 10, I think it's like 9.8, something along those lines, on scale for a 10th scale truck. So like it's, Samurais are little. I don't know, it bothers the shit out of me. Like I said, if I can't sit everything up on a shelf side by side and it all at least semi looks like it should be together, that bothers the hell out of me. But I understand that I'm also a freaking weirdo and OCD about that. But looking to put it on a SCX 10.3 base camp chassis or a VS410, so 12.3 wheelbase. So now I need to figure all that out. I am almost 100% sure an F350 is not close to a 12.3. I'm almost positive. I don't have a juggy. I'd have to look at the pictures. I know Rob was running one last year on his Class 0? Maybe Class 1? Had to be his Class 0. I think they stretched him out. I know everybody runs big-ass flares to keep the tires under them. So, yeah, I don't know. Got me. They're small enough that, like, some people are better about this than I am, especially if I see something I'm not interested in, I don't learn about it, where I think other people do, and they at least like look at all the stuff and go, "Oh, now I know about that." Like, once it doesn't work for me, it's kind of like this. It's like over here, and I've blocked myself. So there may be better people to ask about all that stuff for actual information, I guess is what I should say. So, ooh, I can show you this. Where the fuck did they go? I decided that polishing wheels would be a good idea, and let me tell you, it wasn't. Ah, balls. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Okay. Let's see. What wheelbase does your Suburban have? The Burr Buggy is 13.25, I think. And this Suburban, I honestly have no idea. Let's look. So the Slam Suburban is 13 and 7/8. The Burr Buggy is like right over 13. It's like 13 and a quarter. The rear wheels are farther forward than it would be as an actual truck. I shortened it because when I originally built it, it was going to be like 14. So I shortened the rear links to much, much shorter. Let's see. Like the Axial early Bronco. Precisely. It's definitely not 10 scale. The earlier Bronco was a short wheelbase. Yeah, that thing's huge. The CJ is also huge. Both of those are way too damn big to be beside other trucks of the same scale and be remotely realistic. Cold Crawl said, I don't have a square body in the fleet yet. I think a Suburban would be cool. Yeah, 100%. Just, as a guy that, really looks at those things, make sure that you don't build a four-door Blazer. So you got to move the rear wheel wells forward, extend the rear quarters if you do it backwards or whatever. The wheel well needs to be right next to that back door. That is one thing that a lot of people get wrong, and I try not to. It's impossible to say, hey, you didn't do that right, and not get people's panties all in a bunch. But it's definitely one thing that I see a lot of, and it makes a big difference. So, let's see. Tommy said, all right, well, I'm going to go drink myself to sleep after all this new information. All right, man. I will see you later. Tamiya Club says there's two wheelbase options for the F350, 287 and 313. Had no idea, just checked. That's wild. I did not know that. I didn't know there was two beds, that's for sure. Ryan said, I'd like to get some different wheels for my 6. Just wish Vision made a set, namely in the trail ready design. Yeah, so I've talked about that. I don't know. Hopefully, he said he was kind of messing with it or whatever earlier this year, and never really got anything done because I asked for him almost a year ago, I think, something along those lines. If you do want one, the best thing that we can do is just say something. So get on the Vision website or get on the Vision group page and be like, hey, how many people would be in for 2.9 inch beadlocks in a decent offset? Just basically what I would want is something along the normal wheels that he makes, but just bigger. Because I asked him, I really wanted a set, and I was kind of hoping he'd make me a custom set, and he said he'd been working on it, and then I never really heard anything else from him. So, let's see. Cold Crawl said, appreciate that, no problem. Tommy, thanks for the information, everybody. No problem. I'm always happy to help you. Just hit me up if you want to, whatever. So, anyway, as I was saying, I tried to polish some V1 machetes that were ugly as shit, and I sandblasted and then didn't know what to do with them. And Jeremy, or 8 Lug Productions, he let me borrow some polishing compound, and I bet I've got an hour and a half in these, and the very edges are starting to get shiny, and the rest of it's still kind of bumpy. But what I want to do is I'd like to get the chrome grill for this and get some other things for it, put all the details back on in chrome, and then I would like to polish these all the way out and make them very shiny, and then I will get rid of these gray machetes because it's got V1 machetes on it now. So I'd like to do a little swappy. Even though I do like the gray because it matches the dark gray on here, I'd rather have polished wheels. So Ryan said I'll do that. There you go. Cold Crawl, on your van, keep the orange interior and dark blue metallic outside. Gold wheels, maybe some wire. Ugh. Yuck. What are you talking about? I could get down with the blue and orange maybe, but you lost me at gold wire wheels. So I don't know. That's I've got to let Scott get some things settled before I can send anything to him anyway. So it's really not that big a deal. It just kind of sits up there. Like I said, I've got to let him get around to getting some things back in line, I guess. 1.4 Dayton's. There you go. I'm having a hard time not buying that 2-door Red Cat Caprice. My very first car was an 89 Caprice in that same brown, like sandy color. I am struggling. So Tool Time said, thought about polishing my HD 44s. So part of what I did wrong was I used the sandblaster at Doug's work, which had a really, really rough grit, and so when I blasted these, I made it harder on myself, basically. But I'm getting to a point, like this one's got the center of it's all semi-shiny most of the way around. It's getting there. It's just time consuming, so I usually I'll come out here and work on some stuff, and then like Saturday night at 11 or so, when I'm getting ready to start heading in, like I've got an hour or so left where I'm not gonna fall asleep, I usually sit over there and I'll use my Dremel and buff these out, or try to. So anyway, well, it's 9:30. We're dropped down to about 22, and my iPad's actually almost dead, so that's pretty cool. So I am going to go ahead and wrap this bitch up and send her home. I do actually appreciate all of you hanging out with me. I do thoroughly enjoy Monday Night Lives and get to talk to everybody and stuff. So, but other than that, man, I'm getting ready to go to sleep. I got school tomorrow, so I gotta go get a good night rest so I can go learn some shit. MT Miners, see you later, sir. Oh, rolled over my pants. Everybody have a good night. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for hanging out with me, man. Bedtime, you're Kia. See you later. Cold Crawl, see you later. I will see all you guys. Hopefully Jordan feels better next week, and we might be back in the basement. If he feels up to it, maybe back out here. I don't know. Jake Easy, night. Rudy, always a blast. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Ryan, I'll see you later. Make sure to hit thumbs up on the way out. All that jazz, Almost tastes like chocolate milk. No. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I will see you guys later. Love you, bye.